This video is not the normal standard video. I wanted to make something for a lot of you guys out there who are making content yourself, and as well as for subscribers, for members, a little bit of transparency as far as what things look like on my side of the YouTube studio. So we're going to do a deep dive and see what kind of madness we can see from this side of it. You're going to see all of it. We're going to look back specifically at the last 365 days. And my hope and desire is that, again, if you're a content creator, you're looking for what does a channel of 65, 66,000 or whatever generate as far as impressions and views and money. We're going to look into all of that, and again, if you want to know, you've been spending time watching videos here on the channel, or maybe you are a channel member, maybe you've dropped some super thanks or whatever, and you want to know kind of where all that's going, and we're going to talk about that as well. I am going to tell you some things that other video creators don't talk about as far as how to get and generate more views and what's in your control and what is outside of your control. So let's get into this. So when you open up YouTube Studio, this is what we see, and there's just a few general things here: the dashboard, the content, the analytics, the comments, subtitles, copyright, stuff about earning, customization, and creator music. So we're going to spend a little bit of time breaking down a lot of the things here. The channel this year has done really well, and I'm super stoked and humbled about that. I think we've about doubled in size over the course of the last year. So let's go straight into the meat and potatoes. We'll look at the dashboard here first. You can see the last video that was published and how it's doing. You hear some people talk about every video is 10 to 10. Man, that's not how that works. There are slumps, but that's just how it goes. You see this important notification about video cannot be monetized, right? Simple process will save your life. Emergency SHTF scenario. And I want to look at this real quick because you can see that this video's not being monetized. This video was about a pace plan, right? It's an old video, and something, if you are a content creator who's out there, I'm gonna warn and challenge and caution and urge you to consider and then reconsider what music that you are using for your videos, okay? You can get copyright-free music. It's super easy to do, but what you can't control is if that music is ever copyrighted in the future, if there's some weird things, so just be careful about that. Scroll down here a little bit more. Channel analytics. We got 67,000 subscribers, and I had 200,000 views, 16,000 hours of watch time, and a whopping $1,000 for the month. Big money, all the way to the bank. I don't know how many times I hear that from Kool-Aid eaters. Oh, he's making content so he can go cash some chicks at the bank. He's going all the way to the bank. Yeah, big bank, right? That's not why. That's not what we get here. And then we see just a little bit more about the latest post and comments and things of this nature. So let's go straight to the analytics. I think we're going to spend most of our time here. And what I want to do here is go to content and then videos. And this is looking at the last 28 days. We're going to change this because it tells you, when you posted videos down here at the bottom and how well things, and you can get into the analytics at each one. And we're gonna look at some of these, but I want to go back because if we look at the last 365 days, we see that there's some really crazy things going on here. Like, look at that day right there. Back in June, right? 14,000 views, 23,000 views. Like, it's retarded. If that maintained, like, whoo, dog, then we'd be going all the way to the bank. But we can see we started out at the beginning of the year with, or at the end of last year, right, with 2,000 views. And we've obviously had some days that were crazy with 45,000 views. And you see we're slumped back down here to 6,000 views. To some channels, that's absolutely huge, 6,000 views a day. And for other channels, that's like chump change. And if you're a creator, you need to be careful about how you compare yourself to other channels that are out there, okay? Because you don't know what they're seeing. And here I'm giving you a glimpse of what a 60, 70,000 channel looks like. And there are other content creators out there, with 1 million subscribers or whatever, who will talk down about their channel, about YouTube, about whatever, about the viewers, and they'll never show you or talk about what we're looking at here. And so just bear that in mind. Keep that in mind. I have talked to a couple other channels, right? Grunt Proof and Brent03331, and we talk about analytics a little bit just to compare notes and make sure everything's meshing. And it kind of does, right? As far as subscribers and views, and we're going to look at specifically some of these videos that we see here that exploded. Why? And I'm going to give you my best guess as to why. And it's not the video's name, it's not the thumbnail, it's not the tags, it's not the description. There's a couple little pieces in there that people don't talk about. So, but things generally mesh, right? The amount of subscribers you have is never going to watch your content. And we'll look at the viewers here real quick, right? Let's look at the audience. Right, so here we can see returning viewers and new viewers, right? And on my best day, right, so we have 65,000 subscribers, and I'm getting 2,000 subscribers watching a day. Even if we go to when videos are put out, you got 2,000, right? I mean, that's not even 10%. It's not even 10% watching. So that just is what it is, and you have to be okay with that, or you have to not be okay with that, and then deal with a life that's not content. Like, it's okay. This is an interesting one here. If we look down, videos that are growing your audience. This is over the course of the last 90 days. Right. It's interesting. Let's get out of that. So go back to content. Again, we'll look at the videos. And we see, 38.2 million impressions, 3 million views. That's pretty awesome to me. Those impressions. This is the one thing that you can't control if you're a content creator, right? I liken it to a water faucet. When you are an emerging channel, your faucet YouTube keeps it sealed tight. Like, they may let just a onesie-twosie impressions out for people to see. And as your channel grows, it kind of opens up a little bit more. But just because they open it up a little bit doesn't mean it's for the whole channel. It's just for a specific video. That's happened to me, right? My number one all-time viewed video is one that I can't stand because 50% of it is out of focus, right? This is how to use a compass. But something happened, and YouTube opened up those impressions on that faucet, and it poured out. And so I think we're sitting at just over 1 million, 1.5 million views or whatever. Like, it's absolutely retarded. And there's nothing that I did that made that happen. I don't know why it happened. I don't know how it happened. I have my guesses that whether it was somebody watched it, added it to a playlist, that playlist got viewed, and that caused that opening up of the nozzle. And then it closed back up. And then it opened back up, and then it closed back up, and then it opened back up, and it closed back up. Does that make sense? And the only way that you can control impressions is if you pay money, and you will never get the return on your investment through ads or advertising. So just bear that in mind. Play with it if you want. Disagree with me down in the comments if you have a different understanding or experience. But you just cannot control why I had 167,000 impressions on that day. Don't understand. And I will tell you, because we're going to look at some specific videos, because we look at this, right? And we look down and we see that the 3 videos that were published in and around that timeline, when the government turns against her people, are you being played? Bottom line up front, those bottom 2, absolutely horrible. I thought for sure the Are You Being Played with that thumbnail was going to do really good, right? You got come on. That's a crazy thumbnail right there, right? I thought for sure that video was going to do good. It didn't. It didn't. It did crap. But this other video in here, right, if we look, when the government turns against her people, did extremely well. But it didn't do extremely, well, in the first 24 hours. If we look back, right, have we learned nothing? You're training wrong for SHTF. And then the 5 ways to survive SHTF and civil unrest. So we go back a couple weeks. These are the videos that YouTube opened that nozzle of impressions on. Now, when the government turns against her people also got opened up. So those 3 weeks of videos did absolutely huge. I think they're all over like 150,000, 250,000 views. And we'll look at the money that they brought in. Like, how much money do you get off of stuff like that? But I had absolutely no idea that they were going to do well. And I look at other content that I make, that I pour my heart and soul into, going outside, and it will get like 1,000 views. In fact, let's go back and look at all right, debris shelter. This kind of kicked off the end of the year, going into the beginning of the year. January 15th is when it was published. So I got 19 subscribers. I made a whopping $32 off of this video. I loved making this video. Going out and making a solid, in my opinion, standard debris shelter, and throwing in some navigation, right? And some other things that can help keep people alive. And it did absolutely atrocious when it comes to the analytics. I could look at another video where it's just a talking head video. Let's get back into here to videos and see if I can find it. Let's find one. Let's find a talking head video. Awesome survival military trick you've never heard of, right? So this video, I got 662 subscribers, made $200, 64,000 views. This is a talking head video. I just pulled up alongside next to the swamp, and I thought, you know what? This is going to be as good a spot as any because it's a little marshy. So it wasn't a swamp. It was just more of a marsh. And talk about wearing pantyhose while going out on patrol. That's it. Just a talking head video talking about pantyhose. Why did this talking head video, do so well? And the videos that you really dedicate so much time, whether it's in the physical aspect of going out and shooting it or in the editing, there's no telling. I think this one did well because the title certainly has something to do with it, right? So people love negative words. Like we say that we hate them, but we are drawn to negative words. Forgotten, you've never heard of, revealed, just anything word that may have to do with something that we don't know, something that fell apart, something that failed. All those words trigger a response. Certainly an emotional or physiological response, and what you're hoping for as a creator is that physical response. And that's why people get mad at things like clickbait, because they see something and they read this title, but what they get had nothing to do with those things, and so they get mad. But this video did well, as far as I can tell, because in those first 48 hours, more subscribers watched this video. Let's see if we can find this. So there we see that 4,000 people right out the gate watched this video. This told YouTube something. It told YouTube that it was a good video to open up some impressions on. And they did. And then we see, all of these newer viewers coming in. And then, the impressions, they die down to next to nothing. And they just keep dwindling along, right? And here we are, almost a year later. And, you get one returning viewer watching it or whatever. And that's okay, right? And then no new viewers, and then a couple new viewers. And that's how the ebb and flow of making content works. The ones that you pour your heart into, the ones that you don't. So sometimes, this is something that Randall and I have talked about. These are kind of the videos that we make. We had this gut feeling that it's going to do well. I'm getting ready to go out and shoot another one. Very similar. And I think it'll do well. But these videos help support the channel and support us so that we can go out and work on some of those other harder videos that take a little bit more time to do. For Randall, it's the sear challenge, man. That takes a lot of effort, a lot of time to get done, and doesn't generate the return financially to actually pay for everything in and of itself. Like one day, I think, and this season may do extremely well, but the past couple seasons haven't. It's been the rest of the content that helped make that happen. So let's go into the revenue, right? This is what everybody wants to see. How is Stoker getting all the way to the bank? And we can see this is, again, the last 365 days. Channel has had explosive growth, in my opinion, doubling in size. And I see that I've made a whopping $18,000 before taxes, right? All the way to the bank. Like, this is a hobby for me, and I enjoy making content and putting handles on some skills that other people can go take out and use. I enjoy talking about, virtues, values, and beliefs, and finding commonality with other folks that are out there who also share the same thing, having conversations down in the comments. And that's why I do this. And I'm not going to say no, and we'll look at this peak. You can see that's $200, $300, absolutely retarded money. $369 in one day. Like, if the channel got to the point where I was making that much money a day, like, of course I'm not going to say no. But if it never happens, I'm not going to be upset about it. I'm going to keep pushing because I would love to see that happen. So I'm going to keep making content. I'm going to keep trying to grow the channel. And I'm going to keep trying to push myself to be a better creator. But at the end of the day, like, if it doesn't happen, like, I'm not going to be less of a person if it doesn't, right? Does it make sense? We're going to come back to this page. Let's go to the memberships real quick. So we can see I earn, $2,000 in memberships. I've got I've got 62 members now, which is pretty awesome. And that's like quadrupled over the course of this year. I started memberships last year. What you get as a member right now is when I publish a video, members have exclusive access to be able to view those videos before they're actually released to the public, which actually gives them and I a little bit more breathing room to have comments or conversations in the comments. Also, just lets you see those sneak peeks of what's happening. There's also posts and pictures, and a lot of the members I have additional conversations with, text and emails and things of this nature. So it's just a little bit closer of a network, I think. So it's pretty awesome. Supers, man, everybody loves them supers. Yeah, as you can see, don't get jacked for supers. This is just me. Some people do. I don't have anything here, right? So let's go back to all. So $18,000, and we can see like some months did really well, right? Like if you look at this area, I mean that's some pretty decent change. And if you look at where it started, $13 a day, big money all the way to the bank, and $36 a day. So we're still 3 times over, what we started. So even though this is here and came down from there, I'm okay with that because we started down here. Now, one day, keep grinding. This, a couple $100 a day or whatever may actually be those valleys as opposed to peaks, right? It may become a valley. And as you are creating content, you're going to see that all of your valleys now, whether it's views, it's impressions, it's subscriber counts, it's money, whatever it is, your current peak is one day going to be the valley, right? Your current high is one day going to be your future low. You have to keep grinding and making content. Right? Does that make sense? You just have to keep pushing yourself to get better. Quality or quantity? This is a common question. And I would tell you, if you're a content creator, that one of the things you want to do is you already have your kind of niche figured out. Make a ton of videos about something specific in that niche and see what works. See which ones YouTube opens those nozzles of impressions on. It opens up that faucet. See which ones people respond to, right? Not how much do they watch. Are they commenting? Are they subscribing? Are they liking? And look at these things. Why did I say not how much people watch? Because in the first 15, 20 seconds of a video being opened, people are closing it. Now, if you can get 33% of the people watching a video watching the whole thing, like that's pretty awesome. But don't expect 100% of the people to watch all of your video. Like it's unrealistic. So one day your current peak is going to be your future valleys. You got to stay motivated. What I'll tell you is you never know. So don't put out a craptastic video like I did, because you never know when that's going to do well. And imagine if that video that I made, this is how to use a compass, I articulated better than what I did in it. It was all in focus. Everything was perfect. Imagine if that happened, what the response would have then been. Like, it was already great. But what could have been if that video was just, it wouldn't have to have been perfect. If it was just freaking in focus. If I just articulated myself a little bit gooder, right? There's no telling. But looking back, we can see how much we earned every month. And you can see, a lot of changes in there, right? 2,000 down to 1,000 is what we're ongoing, and we're almost at the end of the month. So it's not huge money, and I'll tell you what I do with my money, whether you're a member, whether you leave a super, or whether you just spend time here. Like, all of this change goes back into the channel, right? It goes into fuel and oil and maintenance for my vehicle to get me around. It goes into maintenance on my equipment here. It goes into camera equipment. It goes into gear and supplies that I use. It goes into chow that for me and Riggs when we go out. It goes into snacks. It does buy some tiers of economy. New uniforms, new things to try out. Like, I do try out a lot of gear here, and I have had a few things given to me. But that's not the case for the vast majority of my gear. Like, I'm just a dude out working and trying to bust my ass and trying to enjoy this. So that's where it comes back to, for whatever that's worth. I think we'll look here at the comments. Let's see here if there's anything else here that's really worth looking at. I don't think that there is. I think that's pretty much it. Get back here to analytics, content, videos. If you guys are interested in lives, I don't do a ton. But that live did really well. That live did really well. And I think if you put live in the thumbnail, or if you put it in the description or anything else, like, people may not watch it, but if you just do a live video as if it were a regular video, you'll see better results. We can see, looking back over the last 365 days. Same was true here. Don't do this during SHTF, or don't do this wrong. But if we look back here, Get Live with Stoker, like, it did absolutely horrible, right? What was I thinking? Live, like, absolutely horrible, right? And then you look at these, and these are doing as well as regularly published videos. I tell you, if you're a creator, engage with your community, whether it's through posts and things of this nature. Like, you will get people who will subscribe to your channel based off of a post. I don't get it, and I can't make this up, but it's kind of wild. So off a post in the last year, we got almost 300 subscribers just for making posts. The best post to make, the easy ones are about content that you just put out, but the best posts to make are polls, and I will generally do a question or a poll, like maybe on a Wednesday, for what Sunday's video is going to be about. Does it make sense? Like, it could be what's the best way to start a fire, right? And give some answers like, use lighter, use a ferro rod, and then Sunday's video, get out and use a butane torch or something, right? But you got people thinking about it during the week. It's and they may not even know or recognize what you're doing, but you're kind of planting a seed. And then on Sunday, you'll see that those videos do well. And so those other videos that we had looked at that did well, going back here, they all had community posts the week prior that dealt with those videos. So there's that. I don't do a ton of shorts. What I do is take a video and I'll chop it down to 30 seconds to a minute and publish it later. And again, shorts will never generate you a ton of money or time or a ton of money or anything else, But we can see, 1,000 subscribers just from shorts. So that's pretty awesome. Overall look at the audience. Again, new guys coming in versus old hats. Yeah, that's pretty wild to see. What's interesting, is the increase in returning viewers, right? So if we get back into, we'll just say into here, and we see, Alice Gear, 5-piece military survival kit. I figured that one was going to do pretty well, and it did. But where was everybody back here? Like, there's things you're never going to be able to explain. Why, for 2.5, 3 months, subscribers were not watching content, and then all of a sudden, it starts to come up. If I had to take a guess, it's because they weren't getting impressions on their when they log into YouTube, right? Does that make sense? They didn't know that something was happening for whatever reason, and that's not to blame YouTube or anything else. It's just inclinations. So team, I hope you enjoyed the content of this one. I know it's a little bit different from getting outside or talking about the things and those values that we hold in common. But I just felt it was important to help encourage and motivate content creators out there, as well as just give you a little transparency for what we see on my side of YouTube and kind of some of those ins and outs. Some people are interested in them. Some people don't give a shit. Either way, here we are. It's the end of the year, and I'm certainly looking forward to 2024, man. Hope you all have had a badass year in 2023, and I hope that 2024 is another one. So team, I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked. Team, if you want to master your craft and develop your tactical virtue, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so that you can stay up to date on future content. Consider becoming a channel member. It's going to give you exclusive access to content not available to anybody else. I appreciate you guys. Until then, you stay out there, you keep grinding, and you stay stoked.